So we're getting ready for our performance, and it's 14 and a half months of work going into today. Like a painting that you get to look at for 2 hours, and that's it.
The masterpiece has been created. Now we just have to dance and share it with people and show people what we've been working on.
We get to experience everything that we put together live.
Did you see the costumes? Whoa! Oh my god, they look awesome. Cool. Yeah.
You're doing a really good job.
No. Excited to die.
I think that everyone's just gonna feel the music and feel like they're creating something special. Live performance is always just so different from rehearsing and getting ready, because anything can happen, and it's kind of that adrenaline rush of you never quite know what's gonna happen next. So it's really exciting.
And you just gotta roll with it.
Yeah.
And just move on to the next thing. And
that's part of why we love it.
Yes.
Someone we worked with recently said that if you're not nervous, then it's not important. I like that. So I think a little bit of nerves is healthy. Gets the adrenaline going.
Genevieve came up to me and she said, I want to start a dance company. And I said, yes, that's my dream. So that's kind of how it all started. And then we actually became Raison D'être because Raison D'être in French means reason to be. And we were trying to figure out our mission. And we were like, what's our Raison D'être? So then we just kept calling our company Raison D'être, and then we tried to think of a better name, we never could. So we just decided to make that the name of the company.
Well, I actually had the idea for the Vivaldi many years before I ever thought about starting my own company. And it just was like the most beautiful piece of music I'd ever heard. And how he had been the violin master at the Ospedale della Pietà in Venice. It was actually such a renowned musical education under Vivaldi that parents would, like if they knew that their child wouldn't have much of a future because they were poor or whatever, they would actually abandon them at the Ospedale so that they would have more opportunities. So basically, once these girls reached a marriageable age, then they would kind of be married off and to whatever opportunity they could, and then often they would not be able to play their instruments anymore because they would have to raise their families, or it would be societal expectations that they wouldn't do music anymore or something. And I thought it was so tragic and amazing also that all this beautiful music had been written for these girls, and then the history has kind of just been lost for everyone who's not a musical scholar. So this idea was born, oh, I really would love to do a full-length ballet someday that tells the story of these girls, and I want to kind of honor the lives of those girls that, was the impetus for all this incredible music. And then we were discussing what we wanted to do for the contemporary part, because we wanted to do classical and contemporary. We decided to do ranges. And we were both in agreement immediately. There wasn't even really a discussion. It was let's do it.
The whole concept is this ascension, climbing this mountain that you think you're gonna reach the top of, but it's a false summit and all these false hopes, and it's a very light to dark. So Seven Sisters, I decided, was gonna be the piece that represented that innocence, that naivety that you're born with, that's untainted. You're not weathered, you're not scarred, you haven't experienced those things in life that kind of dirty up your pants, or scrape your knees. And so they represent this innocence. I have this fog building, and they just kind of pop out like they're popping out of the woods. And then the movement, you think in the beginning is very, very slow, very flowy, but then the song gets pretty epic, and they're really moving together in this very athletic way with these antler headpieces. When they agreed to collaborate with us, I was super excited to claim that song.
Being an instrumental band, a lot of the music is up for the listener's interpretation. From my standpoint, it's adding artwork to enhance that experience. By adding these other aspects, we can make it a more immersive experience. So we're always looking for avenues for different collaborations, different mediums to work with to do that. We're trying to do absolutely as much as we can ourselves. I think this is a very exciting collaboration because what dance is and how professionally RDE takes themselves in trying to achieve a higher bar of performance and bring this type of art form to an audience I don't think a lot of people have much experience with. It's a great fit for instrumental music and things that are more cinematic in nature. Helps give it a new visual component.
So I am a dancer and choreographer, and I'm involved in mostly the contemporary side of things, or the contemporary ballet works, and the choreography for the very final piece of the whole production. And then I had also met with Wilson. I had a lot of ideas in mind from both what I had heard from him and the band and their ideas about what the song meant, and then my own ideas that I'm really interested in with my choreography and my artwork, and they really melded really well together. I feel like I, from the beginning, had these ideas of how the two really spoke to each other and really related. So I literally was in the middle of nowhere, like BLM land, and then my partner and I would trace this grid out in the dirt. He would help me place rocks because I knew that I needed this grid structure because I have all 16 members of the company all in the final piece, and to fit them within the space and have a lot of intricate patterns that I wanted, I had to actually figure out where in space all of them were going to be. And so I had to have an idea in mind of the whole structure of the song before I could actually put the images that were in my head into the different sections. And sometimes the hardest part is figuring out how to get that onto bodies and how to have that visual that's in my mind show up in space, and how to impart it to the dancers and how to give them that feeling of the story behind it for me, and yet still let them have their own interpretation and their own story within that, but give them something that they can also hold on to and grasp.
For me, it's always the music that I hear like certain musical cues and I have to hit those in some way, almost like I'm playing the music with my body, or my dancers are playing the music with their bodies. Like, you don't know which one came first, like the music or the movement. But as a choreographer, I feel like it's always challenging for your dancers to feel it the way that you feel it. Like, that is literally the biggest challenge. I guess it's sort of threefold. It's like, if the dancers like it, if the choreographer's happy with it, and if the audience likes it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I feel like if you can have all three of those components, you can feel good about what you've done. But like with any piece of art, you feel vulnerable because it's something that's like, that came from inside you. You spent a lot of time thinking about it. You spent a lot of time working on it, and you don't want it to flop. You know, you don't want people to not like it. But it is really fun to see everything happening on bodies, but to watch 6 other women do it. And they all do it so differently. Because when I'm in a piece, I'm not necessarily watching exactly how everyone's doing it, but being out of the piece, like, it's crazy. And it's not in a bad way, but it's like kind of beautiful. Like how each of them are doing it a little bit different. It's not distracting. It's really inspiring, actually, to see them all do it with their own little bits of flair. And I hope that that's coming from like a personal place for them, where they're like actually feeling something in the piece, and that's why they look different. And I think, and when we dance together too, we've noticed that sometimes we just naturally move together. And I think it's just because we've spent so much time dancing together over the last year. It's really cool. Ultimately, it comes down to emotion and passion, and all of us just have this passion within us to dance and move, and it can't be stopped.
I have something to say. I feel like I have something to say. And since there's not that available, then you have to create it yourself.
Because it really has been kind of a coming together of dozens of skills that we've learned over the years that all of our dancers have, and everybody brings something from their life to the project, which I think is really, really special. Dance is kind of within all of us.